Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum. Habemus papam.
Voi sapete che il dovere del conclave era di dare un vescovo a Roma. Sembra che i miei fratelli cardinali sono andati a prenderlo quasi alla fine del mondo, ma siamo qui.
A church that will not stay still, a non-static church. We can be sure that this will be the church of Pope Francis.
This has always set Bergoglio apart. A great Jesuit, a man of excellent formation. Above all, he is a man of action.
If we read Pope Francis's writings, we're going to always see this concern with going to the frontiers of poverty, of exclusion, and of those who are furthest from God.
He was always a person who had a lot of courage and plenty of bravery to stand before the powerful and say what he thought. The voice of those who had no voice. That was Cardinal Bergoglio.
A man who is kind of a desert saint and a great and brilliant administrator. The combination of these two characteristics is not very common.
Pope Francis, his life has been exemplary in precisely the type of personal witness that the new evangelization calls for. He becomes a model for millions of Catholics around the world today.
Cardinal Bergoglio's influence extended even beyond Buenos Aires. When Pope Benedict XVI came to Aparecida, Brazil, it was Bergoglio who was put in charge of writing one of the most important documents on the Church in the New World.
I had the great pleasure of meeting him in Aparecida, Brazil, during the meetings of the Latin American Bishops' Conference. When I listened to his homily, he said some things that were very profound and very impactful. I've seen so few people like him who are able to impart such deep thoughts in a simple and relevant way, breaking with protocols. He would share with you an anecdote and touch your heart with its message.
Yet his activities in Buenos Aires were even more powerful than his words.
For him, the center of Buenos Aires was not the Plaza de Mayo, where the powerful live, but rather the city's periphery. As Bishop of Buenos Aires, he always sought after those neglected by the powerful. He made them the focus. This not only helped the people in these neighborhoods live better lives, but it also made the rest of the city of Buenos Aires look at these neighborhoods in a different way.
I asked him, why Mass in the Via? Those are the kinds of questions I would ask him. Or why do you come to the Via? And he would say that he liked being close to the poor, because the poor would offer him their hearts.
Working for Cardinal Bergoglio, Father Di Paola's efforts to rejuvenate the infamous Buenos Aires slum Via 21, a neighborhood where taxis won't travel and even police won't enter, gained the attention of drug lords who threatened his life.
I went one day and said to him, "Look, they have threatened to kill me, and I think it could be serious." Then he took his head in his hands. I remember he sat down, and the first thing he said was, "I'm going to ask God that if something has to happen, let it happen to me and not you."
Cardinal Bergoglio immediately raised Father Di Paola's profile and made sure the media knew of the death threats. the outcry of public support helped save Father Di Paola's life.
So they really were difficult moments, but you never felt alone, because your friends, the people in the villas, people from other places too, people from society in general, and most of all the bishop, were standing side by side.
The Archdiocese of Buenos Aires is a very complex archdiocese. He supported many programs that other priests and pastoral workers carried out in the prisons, with street kids, so many initiatives, and they acquired quite a strong dynamic in the Archdiocese.
This has always set Bergoglio apart. I would never define him as an intellectual. He was a man of action. He is not a man that is interested in culture as an academic subject. Interestingly, he respected that work a lot, but it was not his priority. His priority was social action.
En esta ciudad se explota a trabajadores en talleres clandestinos. En esta ciudad se rapta a las mujeres y a las chicas. Y se las somete al uso y al abuso de su cuerpo. Se las destruye en su dignidad. No gastemos nuestra ternura en cuidar y atender mascotas, dejando de lado el hambre de los chicos. Todos tenemos que luchar por nuestros valores y por defender el hogar, por defender la vida, por defender los valores cristianos, defender nuestros chicos, por defender a los chicos que están por venir, por defender a nuestros ancianos, por defender a nuestros enfermos. Hoy he venido acá para dar un signo de que tenemos que luchar para defender y acompañar a nuestros enfermos.
Someone asked me what would be his most outstanding quality. It's difficult to say, but one is his sensitivity, being attentive to others, being sensitive, listening to the needs of others. He worked a lot in the prisons. Not many people knew this. He would often visit the hospitals, visit the nursing homes, being so close to those in need.
The defining image of Bergoglio's compassion and love for the underprivileged was his custom of taking the Holy Thursday washing of feet and bringing it to the suffering of Buenos Aires.
Es un gesto de caridad, de amor, de humildad.
It's an act of charity, love, and humility that Pope Francis has wanted to do all these years as Archbishop of Buenos Aires. Going to the poorest people, going to the people suffering the most. I believe he does it as an act of following Jesus' example.
Como un gesto de que, siguiendo el ejemplo de Jesús,
he washed my feet and kissed my feet. It was very emotional, very beautiful. It was such a moving thing for me. In this moment, I felt joy and sadness, but real joy seeing the Cardinal do this to me, and I started to cry a little.
Cardenal me haga eso. Medio que me puse a llorar un poco, ¿no?
Bergoglio always kept a very low profile, but he was a very determined man, and he knew how to knit an infinite number of relationships with all kinds of people. That is a trait that he always had. His personal relationships, a great memory, and extreme confidence in his Rolodex.
Bueno, una vez preguntó lo que es muy común.
One day he asked me something that is very common here in Argentina, and especially in Buenos Aires. What team are you? Meaning, which one do you support? So he is a fan of San Lorenzo, and I said River. Well, when River was not playing well and San Lorenzo was, he started joking about it, and I realized that this was a different man. A man who tries to get closely acquainted with his neighbor, someone with whom we can begin walking down a path of deep understanding.
De acercamiento profundo.
Cardinal Bergoglio and Rabbi Skorka's private meetings resulted in the co-authoring of a best-selling book titled On Heaven and Earth.
nos sentíamos comprometidos. Primero,
We are first committed to demonstrating that we can walk together, that we should walk together, each one true to their own identity, yet striving to present a message of spirituality and peace for Argentina, for the city of Buenos Aires, and for the world.
un momento para el mundo.